Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts, like the chart behind me, which is of Palantir Technologies, ticker symbol PLTR. And so I am recording this on Monday, August 19th during market hours, and Palantir is currently trading right around $32 a share. And I did notice something when looking at the charts that could be suggesting that Palantir is testing a level of resistance, the top of a channel. And so I'll put that up on the chart here in a minute. But I'm not trying to say that I think the top is in for Palantir. I'm just wanted to highlight this to show that, maybe it's a good time to exercise caution. But with Palantir, it always goes higher than I expect. Gaps to the downside are never filled. So, I could very well be wrong about this possible level, but I did want to throw it up there. And I also wanted to point out that in a recent video, I believe I did highlight this 1618 at a price of 35.14. That is based on this retracement here coming from the high hit on July 18th of 29.83 down to the low that we hit on August 5th when the market gap down. Palantir hit a low during market hours of 21.23, and so that is how I get that retracement, and that is how I get that level right around 35 bucks. Maybe Palantir is heading there, but maybe Palantir will be pulling back some based on this channel that I have identified, which I'll go over in just one second. But, I also wanted to kind of validate a little bit of, the sentiment or the analysis that I have done that has suggested dip buying levels. I did suggest in prior videos that we might be coming down to, effectively this yellow line here at 21.85. And I suggested that we could be dipping down to that following, this peak around 30 bucks. And the reason for that is not just because of that level at 21.85, which was this pivot high hit on November 21st of 2023, but also because this downtrending red line based on these two pivot highs that intersecting with the level at 21.85, and also from that upside move, the 786 was at 22.36. So with the confluence of those three levels being right around 22 bucks, that made me think that we could be seeing a dip, a pullback, and that is exactly what we saw on the 5th. I wasn't able to predict that gap down over the weekend, but I was able to identify that level. And so, while I know nobody wants to hear Palantir might be going lower, might be at a top, I do think there are some signals suggesting that we could be seeing that, but I could be wrong. This could be taking off to 35. But, with that being said, I believe that the Fed is speaking. There's a meeting later this week. Jerome Powell will be speaking. The markets might respond to that in a volatile way. Maybe that sends Palantir up to 35, but maybe it sends the price down. And so I wanted to go over a level that could be suggesting where that bottom is. And so what I've done is I've drawn this parallel channel. I've already done it. I just wanted to do it for you guys so you could see it. And so that is based on, these two pivot highs and this one pivot low, which goes back to May 4th. Since I am doing this as I'm recording it, it's possible those levels are approximate, but you can see here that parallel channel has been respected. Price has traded, when getting into that channel, has bounced from the bottom to the top, coming back to the bottom, going up to the top again. And then when we did pull back, this is another level that does coincide with this dip that we saw right around 22 bucks. And right now we're testing the top of that channel. And so maybe we get a breakout, maybe we go up to 35, but maybe we do pull back. And so what are some levels that we might pull back to that might be great levels to add two positions at, maybe this could be suggesting that right around 32 bucks, the high that was hit of 32.75, maybe that's a good level to trim at, to take a little bit off the table so one can buy back if it does dip, or, just hold and brace for the downside and add at these levels. And so what are some levels that we could be looking at? So I'm just going to do what I usually do, a Fibonacci retracement going from this low here at 21.23 up to the high of 32.75. Just going to make sure those levels are exact on here, lock that into place, and some levels that stand out to me that maybe, worst case scenario, we could be pulling down to them if we do break below 30. That was the prior high here, so I'd actually see that as acting as a level of support. But if we do break below 30, start to go lower, the golden pocket ranges from a price of 25.26 up to 25.63. Maybe that's a good dip buy level. If we're getting down there, I could definitely see us finding support there. That does coincide with this uptrending level, the base of that channel, but that would be getting to around the end of October. So, maybe we see a slow fade down to that, and that would be a great time to pick up some shares the end of October. But we also do have this gap to the downside at 24.09. Tons of gaps left behind with Palantir. Maybe this is another one, but maybe it's not. That does coincide with the base of that channel. That would be right around September 23rd, so about a month from now. Maybe we see price pulling back to that level in that amount of time. And then just below that is the 786 at a price of 23.70. So maybe we do see a dip to fill that gap, find support there, and that would coincide with around September 11th, pulling back to that level, and then maybe we get a bounce and then start to move to the upside from there. And so if we think about, price changes, price ranges, we could see that from the high of 23.75, pulling back to that 786 represents about a drawdown of around 28%. These other levels we could see a little bit more than 22% to the downside. But if we were to dip buy or add at those levels and then hold to the top of the channel, that would correspond with, let's see, an upside move of about 60%. Taking place over the course of around 112 days. And, maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. I don't necessarily think it's coming down to the 786, but I definitely could see price pulling back to around $30 or, this pivot high here. And from there to, test the top of the channel by the end of the year, that's about a 25% swing to the upside. And looking at the current price, that is a drawdown of, around almost 10%. So maybe it's a good idea to trim or maybe exercise a little bit of caution. So additions could be made at 30, if not lower. But also, I do think that it could be going up to 35. Maybe it breaks above this channel, but maybe it's a fake out break and it pulls back in. So I do think it's good to be exercising caution, whether holding for the rip or bracing for a pullback. And that's just what I see in the chart. And I feel like this channel is pretty compelling. Based on these 3 pivot points, we are testing it again after having just recently broken through the bottom, a fake out break, and now we're at the top. Maybe we get a fake out break to the upside, hit 35, and then pull back from there, which would represent maybe to the golden pocket, that would represent about a 28% drawdown. So 35 could be a good level to trim before that pullback, but maybe it never happens. Maybe it just keeps going higher, to infinity and beyond. Who knows? But, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.